Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ontario Cryptids, your home for amazing true encounter stories. I'm so glad you're here. Today's first story is a fascinating one, written by none other than Preston Dennett. It's a summary account of Janet's incredible lifelong experiences with gray extraterrestrials, a truly captivating journey. I'll be leaving a link to Preston's YouTube channel down below, so be sure to check it out and show him some love. Also, happy Civic Day to all my Canadian viewers. I hope you're enjoying the long weekend and getting some time to relax or explore the outdoors. If you're a returning viewer and haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that like button, the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell, so you'll never miss an episode full of mystery and the unexplained. And if you've got an encounter of your own, I'd love to hear about it. Send your stories to Ontariocryptids@gmail.com. Now sit back and relax, and let's get to the stories. This encounter is titled The Gray Alien Boy by Preston Dennett. One summer morning in 1969, a 10-year-old girl named Janet was bicycling with four of her friends along the side streets near her home in Tarzana, California. Little did she know her life was about to change forever. Looking up, she noticed an odd-looking gray saucer-shaped craft hovering over the grove trees at the top of a long, steep driveway. She called out to her friends, and all watched the object with excitement. None of them had really heard of UFOs, but raced up to the top of the driveway to get a closer look. By the time they got to the top, it was gone. Seeing the steep driveway, they enjoyed a quick pedal-free ride down. It was so much fun that they spent the next hour pushing their bicycle up the driveway and racing down. Tired, they decided to return home to rest and eat some snacks. Janet, however, decided she would push her bike back up one more time so she could race down the driveway, speed past her friends, and beat them home. It was to be a fateful decision. Reaching the top of the driveway, Janet noticed a boy on a bike emerging from the grove of trees. He wore a red shirt and blue jeans and seemed to be having trouble riding his bicycle. As he approached, Janet was shocked to see that the boy did not look normal. He had an oversized bald head, large dark wrap-around eyes, tiny nose and mouth, really long hands and feet, and only 4 fingers on each hand. The boy drove right up to her and stopped. Janet could hardly believe her eyes. Something was very wrong. She wondered, could the boy be handicapped or deformed? Then he reached out and touched her shoulder, and speaking telepathically said, "Don't be afraid." Janet found herself paralyzed. Her fear overwhelmed her, and she realized that this boy could not be human. Unable to move, she felt his eyes penetrating into her mind. Suddenly, the boy was gone, and Janet found herself alone. Terrified, she raced home as fast as she could to warn the other kids about the monster boy. To her shock, she found her friends already at home, sitting on the couch and watching TV. Still very afraid, she tried to tell them and warn them about the monster boy she had seen. They didn't believe her and asked her where she had been for the last 2 hours. Janet was puzzled. She thought no more than 5 minutes had passed. She raced to tell the adults, and they accused her of making up stories. Janet was devastated and frightened. At the time, she had never heard of UFOs and aliens. She thought that some sort of monster was loose in the neighborhood, but nobody believed her. Janet kept the experience to herself, but she began to wonder about some other odd incidents that had occurred around this time. 1 year earlier, she had been playing outside with her friend when she saw a strange shadowy black figure watching them. She ran to tell her friend's mother and was accused of having a vivid imagination. One evening around that time, her bedroom, which faced the back of the house, filled up with an eerie blue light. She got up to go investigate, and that's all she remembered. Unable to explain these events and frightened by them, she decided to just forget about it and go on with her life. A few years later, Janet's parents moved to a new house in Woodland Hills, California. To their shock, the house was badly haunted. Everyone in the family began to experience activities, doors opening and closing, lights going on and off, phantom footsteps, objects moving or disappearing, apparitions, cold spots, and more. After a few years of this, they decided to contact a parapsychologist, Thelma Moss, who came over to investigate. She told them they had a poltergeist and that Janet was the cause of the activity. Once again, Janet found herself the odd one out. Years passed and Janet met a man, fell in love, got married, and moved out of the house. She was glad to be on her own, away from the haunted house. But 1 year later, Janet was by the pool with her husband and friends when she suddenly felt breathless and faint. She was rushed to the hospital and diagnosed with a cerebral aneurysm. Janet and her family and the doctors were shocked. During this time, Janet had a apparent near-death experience. Thankfully, she quickly began to recover. She was sent home, and shortly later she was visited by a mysterious man who nurtured her back to full health. Later, going back for more tests, the doctors were utterly baffled to discover that they could find no trace of her illness. They told her that this had never happened before and they did not know how to explain it. In 1985, Janet and her husband were driving home from a friend's house in a remote desert area in Canyon Country, California. Without warning, the car engine died. Janet's husband went to go get help, leaving Janet alone in the car with her sister's 2 infant children. Janet became uncomfortably overcome with fear that someone or something was coming to get her. The next thing she knew, it was hours later and they were on the freeway heading home. It took her a while to realize that she had experienced missing time. Shortly after, she discovered she was pregnant. She gave birth to a healthy baby girl. Unfortunately, her marriage didn't work out. She got divorced and moved back home with her mother, who had been diagnosed with dementia and heart disease and was failing rapidly. Caring for her infant daughter and her ill mother overwhelmed Janet. It was then she had an amazing face-to-face encounter with an angelic being. Still, high strangeness plagued her. A weird object in her cheek started bothering her. She developed chemical sensitivities and other problems. She heard weird beeping tones in her head. Then one night in 2005, she was driving through the desert near Victoriaville, California, when a UFO swooped down over her car, scaring the daylights out of her. She arrived home and was shocked to find it was hours later than it should have been. She had other instances of added time, but had dismissed them. This time, it was undeniable. The encounter proved to be a wake-up call. Shortly later, she was watching TV and was shocked to see images of gray alien on television. Her mind flashed back to the age of 10 when she had a face-to-face encounter with the monster boy. It wasn't a boy at all, she realized. It was a gray alien. Janet decided to take action. She went to an oral surgeon and had a strange object in her cheeks removed. Both she and her surgeon were baffled to find it was a metallic foreign body of some kind. Then Janet found the hypnotherapist and had hypnotic regression. She was taken back to the age of 10 when she saw the monster boy. This time, she recalled being taken to a cloudy white place where she saw 2 other gray ETs. They had a message for her which she still had not been able to remember. Moving to Texas in 2016, she had 2 onboard UFO encounters in a row. In one, she sat in a chair in a white room as 3 or 4 gray aliens looked down her throat. Shortly later, she had another onboard encounter where she sat in the same chair and was approached by a gray with a strange medical instrument. Following this, her medical problems began to clear up, and she also experienced direct telepathic communication with grays who helped guide her and answer various questions. Today, Janet has come to accept the fact that she is a UFO contactee. She reports many more psychic events, including OBEs, premonitions, mediumship abilities, and more. She had her ancestry done and learned some shocking things about her genetic history. Overall, she feels her experience have been positive, and she hopes that one day she gets to meet the gray alien boy again. Thank you so much for listening to this incredible story of Janet's lifelong encounters. Truly fascinating and thought-provoking. A big thank you to Preston Dennett, who has written extensively on UFOs and paranormal. This particular account was an excerpt from his book, Humanoids and High Strangeness, 20 True Encounter Stories. If you want to dive deeper into Janet's experiences and explore even more, make sure to check out Preston's YouTube channel. I've left the link below. A huge thank you as well to all of our channel members, Elizabeth, Jim, and Teresa. Thank you for your continued support. And if you're a returning viewer and still haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell, so you'll never miss another episode. And if you have an encounter of your own, I'd love to hear about it. Send your stories to OntarioCryptids@gmail.com. Once again, to my Canadian viewers, happy Civic Day and enjoy your long weekend. And wishing you all a fantastic week ahead. See you next week on Ontario Cryptids.